right, welcome on back. Happy Sunday. We're going to carry on and do a little bit of more musing. So, I got quite a bit accomplished today. First, let's go check out this structure. But hopped on, was looking to make just like a Google Sheets of a loan outfit of something, some sort of ledger or anything really. It's a very bare bones, doesn't have any computational power at all, which it totally could. And I also built this. So now I'm like out of blocks of emerald. I'm gonna make it like go up there, then gonna have like an outer layer, and so now it's coming together. And I like this proportionality of this. I'm a little undecided about this, like having the wall through the floor. Should I just make it all like make those blocks of I don't know, but then that's like as you're running up it, you'll see it's capped, and so I kind of like how like the emeralds are just going up through. So I think we'll just leave it like this, and you'll be walking on emerald part of the time, and then this as well. And it has 3 rows all around it. And I'm not sure, like I didn't really make it much wider that way. So, I don't know. But anyways, whee! So, and then as far as technical stuff, I hopped on CodinGame and just for fun, I just wanted to see kind of like what my ranking was in Clash of Code and overall. And I think overall I'm at like 23,000. But with Clash of Code, I started at like 10,000, almost 11,000 out of 737,000, or no, 732,000. Either way, about 730,000 people total do Clash of Code out of like I think 11 million members of that website. And the ranking's not like completely accurate because there's a lot of people that just sign up and then don't do anything. Like for whatever reason, they lose interest or motivation. Hold on. All right. So, anyways, my score of like, and I think it's a combination of like how many you've won or like what rank you got like in certain challenges, how fast you did it, or whatever. Like, there's a whole. I don't even know what the ranking is, like how they determine it, but I performed well enough in the challenges to go down from 5,000, or no, I was almost 11,000. Now it's at like 5,200 in just a matter of like 5 clashes. And one I totally bombed. I didn't know what to do at all. It was to make a hexagon. Oh wow, that's way expensive. I mean, I'll do some trading because we've got tons of melons now, but anything above 10 per is just any 2 digits. It's too ridiculous. So, anyways, yeah, and like the idea is you had to print a hexagon of size, so much size, like say a size 3, and it would have a 3 in the middle, and then 2's all around it, and then 1's all around that. And if it was a 3, it had 3 1s on the first line and like some padding before and after the 3 1s. And then it would have one less padding, and then it would have like 1 2 2 1. So it'd still have a total of 4 units, but it now just had the 2 1s, and then that middle one became 2 2s. And then the next row is even more complicated. It goes 1 2 3, then 2 1, and then it goes padding 1 2 2 1, and then padding 1 1 1. And so really like a really cool pattern to make, and I didn't even figure it out like. I mean, within the 15 minutes, and I even kind of looked at someone else's code because you're able to share code afterwards if you want to, like you're given the option to. And I tried to figure out like what other people's was doing, and I couldn't. I didn't spend too much time looking at it, but basically, I was thinking you had to build this thing, so print it out line by line. So the first line, I was about ready to like hard code it, be like, okay, here's the padding, and then the middle part is just 3 1s, and then the other middle part, or I would do like 1 times the size, because that's one thing I noticed is like it would be anything from a size 1 to a size 9, and a size 1 was just a 1. That's it. Like it was just one single thing pointed up, printed out, and then like a 9 would be the middle row of the hexagon would be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Like it would be the maximum size, which is n plus n minus 1. And so that's what I was doing is I was making like, okay, we'll build the first half and we'll make it print out enough lines. And you're really only looking at like I don't even know how many. I think the same. The number of lines, it was as wide as it was tall. That makes sense. Even though it doesn't, because then you're thinking, like, it's really easy to overlook the padding. And by padding, I mean the spacing before and after the stuff in that line to make it look like it's floating in the middle. And yeah, and which actually ties into the next stage of the other project. Or yeah, so communal. I've already been doing this. Like communal is an idea of where like wealthy people can take over or pay for or loan out their money to poorer people or any combination in between. Like it could be anything. It's just meant as an idea of like a basic ledger. Like if someone wanted to invest in a personal loan to someone else and they're just like here. And that could be controlled with like if you've gone to like local seminars or if you're an active participant in Habitat for Humanity, because I'm still trying to figure out how to get involved with that. Like so far I've seen like they have a project that it's kind of hard to book times to actually build. You can drive the truck to pick up donations or work at the store. And no offense to them, I don't really want to do that. Like I'd rather build the houses, and so I'm trying to see. And I think there's a lot that goes into that. Like I mean, like because they got to be careful. Of course, you sign a waiver that you're not going to sue them if you get hurt or something. But building houses is, you know, it can be pretty dangerous if you're not careful. So, and I did. I worked for building houses less than a year. It was fun, and I know what to do, and I know I can follow directions well enough. I mean, in worst case, I can move stuff, move the heavier things, while the more skilled people do the skilled work, or you know, I don't know, be a general laborer. But anyways, communal, and it's spelled like communal, but just like without a vowel at the end. It's just COMMUNL, I think, and the L is capital to make it, you know, like you know, sleek and cool and all that, and like you know, like a marketing thing, appealing. And then basically the idea is like each person, it's just a Google Sheet, and each person would have their own sheet that's locked that only they can make changes on, and they can record when the person that they loan the money to, and they could use pseudonyms too. This doesn't have to be like, you know, here's your first name, last name, and email address. Like you could, like Google makes it really easy to protect like identity. You got to be careful. I mean, because I feel like it's really easy to let all that slip and then configure it back. So the visibility is pretty much instant. Like as soon as you create the sheet. What's this back here? Do I really want this? I mean, this could probably be open and be another room. I mean, I kind of like that. It's like a little nature area still within it. But the main part... Oh. Ah. There we go. It's really coming along. There's just a cow floating out there. And let's give it some light. Okay. So anyways, yeah, the idea is like a spreadsheet and like, I don't know. I want to explore like the actual programming part of sheets because I know Excel has a ton of abilities and like there's ways to calculate things and you know, it's just a lot of stuff to keep track of. So, in Google Sheets, I feel like almost anything except for formatting that you can do in Excel is able to be done in Sheets. So, and you wouldn't even need that much, like, because it keeps track of the dates of when you edit it. And you could even have, like, I want to try to link it to email, like to have an email be able to change something in a spreadsheet. Because if that's the case, then your spreadsheet just becomes the database for voting. Like it's super easy. And then if you have an email like come in, although it's not quite that easy. I mean, you'd still, for that, you'd probably want to actually build something more of a web server type thing. But, oh wait, let's just keep trading. Or no, what are we doing? So now I was AFKing, so then they'd like lower their rates. But I think they're still, that's okay. Nice. So I don't know. And then I made a birthday card for my nephew, which I'm like way overdue, but I've been trying to do that more because I'm horrible at gifts. And so just making like animated birthday cards on Scratch. And so that was fun. And he likes cars, so I made this little thing where this one car would be driving one way and it's a street, like this nighttime scene, like automatic backdrop they have. And so when you click the start flag, like one car drives from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen until it disappears, then it waits a few seconds, and then it'll start over again from the left side and go to the right. And it will have a percentage chance to change into a different type of car. So, or a different costume is what they call it. And then, excuse me. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing this because it's probably going to take a while to restock or be better trades. Yeah, they're not working. They're just hiding out from the rain. So, oh wait, is this thing even still going? No, it's not. How did it stop? And there's, yeah, the chicken, the llama, and the villager all got smashed into the one thing. Oh, yeah. Woo. Alright, so every now and then it glitches, I guess. And keep watching, and woo! And that guy's just holding on to it, but he keeps moving, so that's funny. I wonder if other people are moving him, like bumping into him and stuff, and he's just, oh, don't fall in here. Let's push you that way. Okay. So, anyways, all I have left to do is I need to make another birthday card. This one's still not quite done, but like I like it. But I mean, I guess it's okay for, I mean, I could spend days on something like that and just like tweaking it, fine-tuning it, changing things. Like, that's why web development's so hard because there's so much you can customize. And that's actually where I'm going to go with next. I'm going to go to codepen.io and basically write out a better business plan for CommunL and the hippie farm. The hippie farm's already in a Google Doc, which is shared on all these videos. Well, most of them. I need to go back and update the most recent, like 5 or 6 probably, to add all the links. But I want to start putting the link for CommunL in these. And then, because it's really easy to see, and I put an example in there and it's locked, and so only the person that's involved in it, everybody can see it. And so I wonder if even that would be a big deal because, again, you could use fake names if you really wanted to hide your identity, but that way anybody, any investor, any famous person, or anyone could take a look and be like, oh wow, these are actual people or families getting entire like car loans and home loans, and then here's when they're paying it back. This is how much they're paying back, like basically no interest. And they could do this for, I mean, if it's done right and if it's done by donation dollars, and it could be 40-year loans, 50-year loans, like, you know, maybe make them only pay like 1,500 or something a month for, or I don't know. You'd have to figure out what works, but then the payments would go back into a pot, like a big fund, and then someone could just redirect that and like, and it could even be a robot. Like you could have a queue of people that, you know, as long as somebody approves what's in there, then the robot would randomly assign, or the script or whatever. It doesn't have to be like, you know, I think we're past the time where people think like an actual android or whatever. It's like a person robot. It's just, no, there'd be a computer program that would just have people in a queue or a line, and then like the order that they're received, the need or whatever, there could be any number of like factors to adjust who gets to go first, and then it just keeps like let it ride. And I was even thinking about like different yeah, let's go ahead and let's harvest some more stuff while we're rambling, but different ways to have the funds pay out. So like say somebody only wants to loan the funds for 10 years. It's like, okay, so you just loan it in there, and then that would, well, see, that'd actually be kind of hard to work with because um we'll just leave that. Didn't really make a lot of emeralds that run, but because I mean the basic idea is like if enough people donated money to have one home loan go and then as soon as that's paid back, like, or until like a certain point is reached, maybe another loan, a second loan can go out, and then as the money's coming in, it can be loaned out. But then you get into like kind of like reverse mortgage type things, like, you know, would somebody sell a house based on, okay, well this is coming in, worst case, like if like this completely fell through and the owners like stopped paying, but then you'd have to think of something on the other end, like, okay, say someone is delinquent so many times, like X amount of times, however, whatever you decide. Because I mean, and you could even make it like 6 late payments or something ridiculous, like really give them, you know, and not even late payments, like, you know, instead of charging more, just being like, you know, nasty grams and like a strike, 5 strike rule. I mean, 3 strikes, it's kind of harsh. And I mean, when it's just black and white like that, it's really easy to just be like, I don't know. But there should be a way to salvage situations. Like people can make up for it, maybe pay a little extra. I guess, yeah, maybe an extra fine on top of the total loan or whatever might be okay. Because it's all going to benefit others. And so, but even making it to where like a minimum wage job would be able to pay the loan back. Like we're talking, you barely have to try at all. Like as long as you're working full time and then being, you know, there for your family, then that's it. You get this house, so, or this car. I mean, because education, I don't know. Anymore, like, yeah, college degrees still carry weight, and there's still a whole industry with that. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a series of jobs that don't require a degree, and there are, and like, and just have like neighborhood, like the neighborhood gardener or something, and like produces like a majority of the food. So there's the food costs completely down, or you know, could even just like sell the food on a local scale, and then just have like local farming everywhere. And then it would be cheaper regardless because, or I mean, maybe in the long run, it might take some time to get to that, to established status, but like it'd be cheaper without the transportation costs. And even working with local grocery store chains and stuff. Like, I mean, if the food can be sourced locally and cheaper, then it's going to be cheaper on the other end. And you're still letting people have jobs that process it and handle it, you know, the grocery stores and everything, but like reducing their costs. And that's the other thing, too, is like I was talking about that with that guy on the X app, or a Canadian. I don't know if it's a guy or a gal, but someone who's very upset and like talking about the gangs taking over Denver or Aurora, which Aurora is already pretty sketchy. It's a low-income place overall, but like it's also real close to the tech center. I think it might even have the tech center in it. So it's like where a lot of money is made, but not a lot of money is kept. Like people commute there, like make a ton of money, and then, you know, I don't know. But anyways, a lot of crime, a lot of gang stuff, and you know, it can be kind of scary. But at the same time, like if people didn't have it so rough, gang stuff would decline, and I would say, you know, and I'd like to look at the figures, the numbers, even just from legalizing cannabis, like that seriously affected things, because what people have been tallying is like in those crime statistics, and that's why you can't really believe them at face value all the time, or you got to take these other things into consideration. It's because people were considering if people had a bag of weed on them, that was a crime, so oh, the crime is high, and so then people make the distinction, okay, violent crimes. So it's like, well, wait, why don't we have the nonviolent crimes really adjusted and looked at? Like, are we really helping the situation? Are we helping a certain few? Like, you know, keep that job quota for prisons and stuff. We have a horribly flawed prison system. I mean, and it's no one's real fault. It's like, you know, like how do you make a perfectly good prison system to house people for so long? Well, you got to adjust it. Maybe you don't put them in there for decades. Like, so, anyways. Yeah, it's crazy. So, anyways, so that's what I'm gonna try to do today. Maybe write some more. Well, that was fun doing the clashes of code. I did about 5 clashes, I think, and like I saw it go up, go down. Like in one go, I dropped like 5,000 ranking, like, or I improved by like 5,000 spots. So now I'm in the 1% of Clash of Code. Like out of 730,000 people, I am like number 5,300 something. So I'm trying to think of the ones I got right. Like one was they gave you a sentence of words and like or like a group of words just separated by spaces, and then you're supposed to take them and print them backwards. And so that kind of causes a problem because like with Python, and that's the coding language that I was using for all these, you can make a list and then you can take that list and make it up in entities like or in items or units or whatever you want to call it, think of them. Basically groupings like an itemized thing. So now instead of a sentence, which is really a grouping of several characters including the space character, because that's what the basic string is, or like that kind of variable in other languages. Python, it's still just a variable. You can say it a word, like a bunch of letters together. But what the computer sees is a bunch of letters, but like the location of each letter in that grouping. So it goes to this memory address and reads the letter that's there. Oh, it's this letter. And then, oh, it's a space. Okay, so now we're on to the next word. But it doesn't really keep track of words unless you tell it to. Um, or you can break it down into a list, which is like an array or a group of things. So I did that. I took the input, which was just a sentence of a few words, no punctuation. So that was the nice thing, because otherwise you'd need to strip that out. Or depending on how they wanted the results. And they gave an example of how they wanted the output to look. And it was just the words backwards separated by spaces. I don't know if there was a space at the end that I know that can, as silly as that sounds, that can trigger, tests to fail. Because, well, and for exactly like the reason of punctuation, like say you want there to be punctuation, like, okay, so, you're going to have to strip it out at the beginning, manipulate the stuff, and then put it back in, or work with it the whole way through, which just sounds like a nightmare. So, there's like a fog. Or a smog. It's going away, but it's kind of... Is it just over the water? That would be really cool if like it had like a sea breeze type fog situation, like that was part of the programming and made it just kind of foggy on the shore. So that's why I love this area too. Like we've got like this big ocean or lake or sea out here. Let's see, do I have one going all the way around? Nice. Alright, yeah. Oh, and there's still ice. I have my Frostwalker boots. That's funny. It's still like frozen like that. Like literally, haha. And then also, yeah, and then the birch hut floating out there, ready to be exploded whenever my son wants to blow it up. Or if he wants to, I don't know. And then we've got the Emerald Tower, which, I mean, it's not going to be a huge tower. It's just going to be like a little... And this thing, I don't know, I feel like that'll be more like a parking garage. And eventually I want to tie these two towers together. Or two or more towers. I don't know. That might be like a whole 9/11 thing. So maybe we'll want to think about that. But basically, as you'll see that zigzag of, you can see the rail cars there. I'm making a railroad or a roller coaster that goes all the way around that, or all the way down too. I mean, I'm gonna try to make it to where they both go, and that's what that is. That's like a little launcher pad. So then you push it off, and then it goes, and then it falls from up there. Wait, is that how I have it? And if you go back the other way, here, let's go look at that. I mean, and it's subject to change too, for sure, but like as it is, it goes underwater, which is pretty cool. Let's do bloop. And then I don't know, I was gonna make it go like all the way down, and like you can do the power rails underwater. You just have to put the power rail on a block of redstone instead of, because the redstone torches you can't place underwater. Huh, or maybe that just stayed frozen. That's pretty cool. I don't know why, but yeah. And Frostwalker boots. Now let's go ahead and get some more. I'm talking about it. I've done this in gigantic fields, like had like almost like entire chunks just dedicated to this growing sugarcane. but it's really good fodder for bone meal. And as I'm expanding the garden, which I don't even know why, I'm starting to run out of storage, and I kind of get to that point where I get over ambitious, make a bunch of gardening, and then like, yeah. So I don't know. I think that's really it. Just like legalizing cannabis and magic mushrooms worldwide, making it to where you can loan for zero or low interest, and like have sliding scales, more personal loans. And I think with technology we can now do it, because before it was an issue of fraud, and it's like, but now like if people can track you and be like, yeah, this person, don't, they can set up a flare, be like, or even maybe hit the credit too, like whatever, like maybe make them official, but somehow make it without undercutting the banks too much to where it's like they might get, there's some animosity or legality or whatever. I mean, and the whole point of this is to not make money, but to just help the money flow in more efficient ways to where we can stretch money farther. Like, because as it is, like, everyone who's got money is looking to invest here and there and all this and blah blah blah, and like, it'd be real easy to just tweak one of those to be like, okay, now this group is investing in affordable housing, like, building new houses, renting new houses, maintaining all that, like basically doing what the big corporations are supposed to be doing but they're not doing. So, and really a good idea for that would be like if we had a law that said, okay, if you're buying properties, you have to sell them. Like you can, or a certain amount have to be like rent to own. Or just make them extremely cheap rent. Like, I mean, if you can do it better and then keep the rents low, then yeah, like only make so much money off of it. Because as is, it's just ridiculous. So, and part of that, like, the thing about Denver and the gangs is like, well, if you read the articles about those gang members taking over, a lot of the, well, at least two of the ones that I read, talked about how there's code violations and those companies are like basically renting out rundown places that they're slacking and they're not keeping them up to snuff, like of what's needed for a rental place. And rents have been like skyrocketing everywhere. It's really hard to find rent anywhere. Like the prices just all keep going up. And then you have, sorry, you didn't see all this, but anyways, gotta cycle them out so a new wandering trader comes in, and then might as well take the llamas and stuff too. Let's see what we do with all this stuff. Oh. Yeah, let's go sell some more melons. So, but anyways, yeah, it's just there's a whole lot to unpack there, and like, I'm not denying that there's some bad things going on, but to paint everybody with that brush like it's an invasion and these people are making a coordinated, organized assault on the rental properties. I mean, and to a point, yeah, maybe, but like, let's get real and let's figure out like what the actual danger is before flying off and being like, oh my God, we're invaded, send in the National Guard or something like that. And like, local PD can handle it just fine. Like, let's let them handle the situation. They have detectives, they have people investigating. Like, let them do their job. And like, and all these armchair, you know, professionals, like, that know what's going on. Yeah, it's just. And still, for that much of an influx of people, and to only see crime go up so much, I mean, I'd have to see the actual numbers to know for sure, of course. Like, but it just seems like the people yelling the loudest and like repeating over and over, it's about the same handful of few names, which is terrible. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but like if we're looking statistically, like how many people that just live in this country are killing each other and doing these things, and like just human nature to like act out and do a bunch of this really messed up stuff, and how much of do we have a handle on that versus these people coming in? Like I want to say it's a fraction of like per capita violence and everything. And again, what do we rank as like crime? Like nonviolent crime? Like why even that's got to be skewing some statistics. And like now that we've legalized weed almost in this whole country, both candidates want to legalize it, by the way. So although Harris is a little more complicated, like Trump said, that's one thing I do like about Trump is he just said it. He's like, I think it should be legalized. Most states are legalizing it. I plan on legalizing it. Like that's what I've heard him say. I would have to like look at his website to see his official stance, but Like, and with Harris, she's spoken at 420 rallies about, in favor of weed and how it should be decriminalized, at least decriminalized, if not legalized. But even decriminalized, like, then you get into issues like, what if you do want to grow it for, like, whatever reason? All right, sir, we will pay your exorbitant prices. Highway robbery. Right. Oh. So, anyways, been a very productive day. We'll go ahead and wrap this one up. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I really enjoy Scratch programming because it's so cool, and they hold your hand so much. Like, you can automate animation very easily. Oh, excuse me. Whew. I'm gonna go back and try to make the other birthday card. Um, Make a code pen, which is basically a website without the actual hosting. You do the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. And I'm gonna make it to where it needs to have some persistence. That's the thing I struggle with. Like, I need to figure out a way to, like, send out an email with the general ledger or whatever, and then somehow capture that record. Because with CodePen, it's just like a static, like, web page that there's no real database or server or file storage on the back end. It's just what you see is what you get, and you reload the page, and it starts from scratch. Like, there's no persistence. So, but if I can figure that out and have it even, if I can even trigger it to send an email from JavaScript in a website, that would be really sick. Ooh, okay. And then I could have just an email account that would receive all these emails and test that out. And then once I have control, because Gmail has so much control over all that stuff, you can archive things, you can file things in, like, separate. I know you can with other ones too, but I'm able to do all that with Google. So if I can send all that, I have like 3 public-facing Google Gmails, and so, like, the one that's hosting all the stuff, the sheets and that, the Google Doc for the hippie farm. I'll just have that email, or maybe another one. Actually, I'll probably even have a different one. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one. I might try to hop on here again and do a check-in of what all I accomplished today, or not. Or maybe even just take a break and do some Dark Souls, because definitely having a lot of fun with that. I'm already, I'd say, like a third of the way through the game. Maybe, well, probably not halfway. Like, probably more like a fourth or a third. Actually, no, maybe even like less than that, because I don't think I've ever beat Dark Souls 2. I just got to the Lost Bastille and I'm almost done with it. I gotta fight, or I'm almost halfway done with that one, because I need to fight the 3 Sentinels, which I've beaten them before. And then once I do that, there's a few, I still gotta fight the Pursuer. Anyways, I got a lot to do. So, ta-ta for now. Happy Sunday if I don't see you again today, and I'll see you in the next one.